Shadow for our TV at a mysteriously mystical location somewhere in the dark. Considering the whole thing that's been going on recently in, say, the media and, all these government announcements of this, that, and the other, drama, I just felt that there was an underlying narrative that people hadn't really taken into account with the whole scenario, and that was kind of like that there was a lot of fear around anyway. And so governments and that, they seem to be able to direct people's energy towards being fearful of this corona thing, which I'm not going to get into at all. Well, I'm just talking about the narrative of what was going on sort of in the media, and the point about the idea that there is actually a lot of fear in general in the human experience on a daily basis, and that we can get caught up in that. And the media know how to tap into fear, and they know how to bump up a story to kind of hit you emotionally. And this sort of maybe the slowdown now in the nature of the narrative at the moment is kind of only, it's like a little break, and then they're gonna whack it in again, and sort of watch it. It's really interesting. The psychology behind it is totally cool. But I thought if you're interested in making artworks, then look at how this artwork is being made, because it's really good artwork actually. It's kind of like where the line between reality and the TV, what do they call that TV, reality TV. It's like, where's the line between that? The media, of course, they play one narrative, and then they're presenting a narrative that sort of governments want to go along, because it's a visual story that everybody's gotten into. And, it's kind of not over yet. I just think it's interesting from a perspective of how a narrative is developed and then presented, right? I think you should take a step back and try and think about it a bit more. Because, the light can always be shone in one direction or another just to highlight something. At the moment I'm highlighting me, one side of my face, Hang on a sec. Now I can highlight my face this way and it looks a lot more freaky, eh? I can highlight it this way and it looks more scary, and I can highlight it this way and it looks like a little bit more unusual. And then if I go behind myself here, or if I do this, I've got a whole other narrative going on, The visual point of the video here being that depending on what light you put something into, it takes on a different hue. What's going to be left as a residue when this story kind of plays out is going to be like fear and paranoia. And I don't particularly have an opinion about politics in general, but I think they've basically proven themselves to be either they're being manipulated or they're part of a big manipulation that's going on, or both. Hi guys, sorry, nothing personal. There is the narrative that yes, there could have been this and the other, and so they had to take precautions about this and the other. On one hand, they throw one story at you, and then they throw another story at you, and then they throw another story at you, and each of them are contradicting each other. And so one way you're looking this way, and you're looking that way. You're looking, what way is what? I mean, I'm walking in the shop, and people are practically jumping away from you in shock horror, like they're in a shock and horror Hollywood movie. It's like sci-fi holiday is what I consider. I think it's kind of funny on one hand, but on the other hand, it's sad. And the fact that your health is going to be long-term affected if you go around being in fear all the time, in fear. Oh my God, the people are out to get me. Oh my God, look at that person. They could be breathing all sorts of this, that, and the other. I mean, come on. What are you doing? Take a step back and sort of look at it with a critical mind. Does this make sense? Does it not make sense? What's the opposite opinion? What's the other opinion? Instead of people dismissing genuine questioning can't ask any questions, you can't criticize the government. It's like, where's the line between reality and fiction? Yeah, anyway. See how serious I look? Bring that light, with that blue light. See, isn't it amazing? So anyway, the point about the Monster of Fear and Paranoia, the song, was that it struck me that's what will be left, is the Monster of Fear and Paranoia. And that ultimately, that will be the legacy of this situation. If you don't ask questions, you don't get any answers, you know? That there's something other going on. What I mean is that the whole thing will have this end result of just promoting general sense of fear that was already there, and it's kind of getting heightened. And it's just not good for your health. It's not good for your health, like, you know, to be constantly thinking about what is bad for your health is actually not good for your health. If you go around keep thinking, oh my god this, oh my god that, you know, it's like you're afraid of phantoms that aren't there, you know. I mean, there are actual phantoms there. Yeah, but this is directing you away from those, you know. The other thing I would say, which I found a little bit weird, I have to say, right, is like Bill Gates. Suddenly out of nowhere, Bill Gates is some type of health expert. And he said it himself. He was a health expert. Healthcare. I just found it a bit weird because I know that Bill Gates is probably well up on nanotechnology, and I'm sure he's well aware of the use of nanotechnology in medicine. Why is he promoting vaccines if he's like a computer geek? You know, he's a computer geek. And sorry, Bill, nothing personal. And if I seem a bit serious, it's because, of course, the lighting. Right. I just thought it was important to bring up the idea that fear and paranoia are sort of staples in the mindset of people. The one I really loved the best, my best kind of image that I got when I thought about this was Chicken Licken. You know the story of Chicken Licken, about the chicken who's Chicken Licken. I think that's so funny. If you let fear dominate what you think all the time, then you're really getting into paranoia and distortion of reality. Because when you think in fear, there was an ad years ago, fear is the mind killer. There was an ad for a movie. And it's true, fear, it kills your mind, because once you let fear grip your mind, you're just constantly thinking fearfully about everything. Because if you are only looking at the media for your information and not like discerningly looking around, and if everybody's looking in the same place, I get sucked into media stuff as well, you know. But then after I watch stuff for a bit, I'll take a step back and I go, yeah, wait a minute, does that make any sense? And does it make any sense? You know, so it's about how things can be lit. And even in TV series, you know, dramatic lighting, film, the 30s, film noir and all that, these film movies were really good at the lighting and making dramatic lighting and using it to really good effect, you know. But so I just think it's really important that we start to maybe turn the light on stuff that maybe we didn't want to think about recently because of various genuine concerns. And I understand that people want to genuinely concern for their health, you know, but at the same time, I think it's important that we look at the story and how it's developed and whether it is all like ultimately believable or not. And because it's going to continue and it's not over yet, how do we respond in the future? Because that's really important also. You like it? It's kind of cool, isn't it? The drama. In the darkness again. See, and this is the point actually. When we're in the darkness, we're hoping somebody else will enlighten us and tell us the story about what's really going on. Like here we got the if I can get it here, the moon in the background, and the moon, of course, is there to light up the darkness for us on a dark winter's night or even on a dark summer's night. And the moon is also how we emotionally respond to things. That's what it symbolizes, you know. And And the media are really good for manipulating our emotions and getting us to emotionally respond in a way that they want to. Because you can't really believe everything that you read in the newspapers. Because, you know, that's one of those old sayings, isn't it? Don't read everything you believe in, or don't believe everything you read in the newspapers. But like, don't believe anything at all. And like, maybe, and yeah, maybe turn off your mobile phone, you know, because it's really not your friend. It's just kind of lying to you all the time and kind of annoying you and sending you messages about this, that, and the other. It's all being controlled by algorithms that are programmed to do that. And it's like poking you all the time. And it's setting you off balance, off your own balance, where instead you should be standing back and taking a different perspective and seeing where is the light coming from and what is being highlighted and why. And who is doing the highlighting, who's editing all of this stuff, you know? Who's making the story? You know, like in the morning the sun comes up and then we can see what we couldn't see in the darkness the night before. And then the sun goes down and we can, and the moon comes up. And then the moon lights things up differently. Take a step back and see what's the story here. How did I deal with that, and how am I going to deal with it in the future? You know, because regardless of what the actual story is, in this kind of stressful fear kind of perception of reality, overcome the fear, because that will actually make your whole life experience a much better thing. So I think it's always interesting to see what is the story that's being told to us, and how does that fit in with maybe the wider scope of how we perceive things. Okay, have a super wonderful day. Thank you for your time. Like, subscribe. For Radar TV at a mysteriously mystical location where I have actually, and I have it on video, I have killed the monster of fear and paranoia, and I'm going to attach it to the end of my video.